Saturday morning, we kick off the Experts program on Power Talk Radio with Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. Luis, good morning and welcome back.
Thank you, sir. How are you today?
Doing really well. Looking forward to the first weekend in June. Lots going on. And one of the things I want to talk with you about today is the hybrid workplace, or hybrid work is here to stay, say the work experts. Boy, I'm having trouble spitting it out today. But anyway, hybrid work sounds to me like we're talking about, working in the office part of the time, working at home part of the time, or somewhere else part of the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. As we're expecting the state to completely, open up in a couple of weeks, where not only will stores and restaurants and everybody else be able to go back to regular, pre-COVID activities, but businesses will be able to as well. And one of the questions that's come up is, to what extent are the things that happened during the pandemic in terms of work and school going to remain, and how many of those will disappear and we'll just go back to the way it was? And the reality is that in a recent survey, about 9 in 10 businesses have said that they will continue to allow their employees to work in a hybrid environment, coming into the office a few days a week and working from home a few days a week. And that presents some challenges for businesses, and we're having those conversations and have been having those conversations with our clients, because they're trying to figure out, how can we make this work? It's one thing to be forced to do it, and have to just accommodate the kind of vagaries of hybrid work. But now that you're choosing to make it happen, what does that mean? How do you deal with that as the new reality? We're already experiencing some of that when it comes to like meetings, when all your meetings were online, were virtual through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or WebEx or whatever. Everybody, that was a level playing field. But now we're starting to see people do hybrid meetings where they're using their conference rooms again and putting people in there, but then also remoting in people that aren't in the building. And some of those meetings are a little awkward, and some of those, some of the remote people don't feel like they're being part of the team, if you will. So we're working with them, these clients of ours, to try to address that issue and come up with other ways that you can collaborate regardless of where you're at.
Okay. So how about your own business? Are you doing hybrid work with your employees? How are you handling it?
Yeah, we are. We decided that the hybrid model works for us, especially if we have, in the past when we've had employees that had to stay home because they're, back when kids used to get sick before COVID times, they would ask, hey, I have to stay home with my kid. Can I work remotely? We would say, no, we want to, if you can't be in the office, then just take the day off. But now we're definitely going to accommodate that, because we know that they can be productive. We know that they can get things done. We re-engineered our company to be, more flexible and nimble with virtual activities. So we think it's something that's here to stay for us. And if somebody says, "Hey, I want to work from home a day or two a week," we're not going to say no, because we know that they're productive. That's one of the biggest lessons I think that came out of this whole experience of forced virtual and remote workers is that we learned that people can be productive. They can get their jobs done. There's a lot of businesses had a fear that if they let people work remotely, they wouldn't be as productive. And I think the pandemic has shown that that's not the case. Okay.
Now, are you looking at a situation where you will not need as much square feet as you had pre-pandemic that you're using now?
That's one of the areas as we continue to grow that we're going to be looking at. We've always added additional office space for our staff as we grew, but now we may not necessarily have to do that. And also the ability for us to look for different kinds of talent outside the area no longer something that we're shy about. We always wanted to have people that work here in the office. But now if we can find some talent, and those folks are not available locally, but maybe available remotely, we're not going to say no. We're going to take a look at that.
Interesting. So I wonder how we're going to see this play out with commercial space all across Salinas, the area, and the country. Are we going to see businesses, contacting their property management companies, landlords, and saying, hey, we had 5,000 square feet, but it turns out we can get by with 2,500 or even less. So we need to talk about giving back some of this space. We don't need as much as we had before. So are we going to see, are we going to see more of a buyer's market for commercial space in buildings going forward?
Yeah, that remains to be seen. I know that I have some friends in real estate, and they have said that no, that hasn't happened yet. But we haven't opened up. So I think that's a great topic to discuss in the future, because as companies start to ramp up, will they not need as much physical space as they have in the past? There's a company called Snowflake that just decided, it's a startup that came out on Wall Street a few weeks ago, and they announced that they were going to remain a virtual company and move their headquarters to Montana from San Francisco, because they don't need an office and they can live anywhere, and the owner wants to live in Montana. So there you go.
Yeah. And I guess this is also impacting restaurants. Get a situation where, let's say, half your workforce, Luis, is now working from home, working remotely, no longer in the office. That means, like, when lunchtime comes around, they're no longer walking to the taqueria across the street or the bakery or any of these other places that we're seeing so many people. So I'm interested to see how this plays out for the restaurant industry. I'm sure that restaurant operators are a little fearful about hybrid workplaces going forward and how it will impact their bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that a lot of the restaurant workers like to work in restaurants because of the flexibility of schedules. But now if you can work remotely for doing something else, you can probably get that same flexibility. So that's definitely going to impact their ability to rehire folks that worked for them in the past.
Right. All right. Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us today on Power Talk Radio on our Saturday edition of the Experts Program. Check them out online. It's alvareztg.com. @AlvarezTG is their Twitter handle. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.